I can't prove that, right? But I know you did this on your show recently, and you can you really dismiss that as absurd, though? I mean, I can't prove it.
What are you talking about right now?
You're bringing up, oh my God, he's done so good that he's on performance-enhancing drugs of some kind. He's shot up with something.
It's all over your network. Have you seen the morning show on Fox News?
We're about to have a look at a debate between Will Cain and David Pakman over the mental state of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. One thing we've come to learn after watching so much of the nonsense come out of David Pakman's mouth is that he likes to begin these debates with a statement to the effect of, are you willing to engage in a good faith argument, right? Which then he proceeds to engage with bad faith arguments, citing sources without actually providing those sources or names or whatever, so you can't really fact check him too hard, which to me is precisely a bad faith argument. But let's go ahead and get her started.
So the title of today's episode is Trump Falling Apart. That's not never Trumpism. That's not a contention, an affirmative statement that I am making today. But it is certainly an allusion to something that has been suggested by my next guest. And he is David Pakman of The David Pakman Show, joining us now on The Will Cain Show. What's up, David? Good to have you.
How are you? I am. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to exploring and engaging in dialogue during which we'll figure out, are you one of the good faith participants at foxnews.com?
Well, I'm excited to have you be my judge, jury, and executioner on my faith. But I'm excited more to have you here. We'll at times debate. We'll also explore, like you said. By the way, David, I don't know how familiar you are with me, but I think I've got a pretty strong track record of being someone who engages the opposite side in good faith, whether or not that's on ESPN or on Fox or wherever I have appeared in the past. And I have no intention of it being any different today here on The Will Cain Show. So, Dave.
And there it was. What a loser.
At this point, I've interviewed 4 different mental health professionals. They all agree Biden is slowing down. And when you understand the things that are tough for Biden, combined with his lifelong stutter, he very quickly corrects himself when he gets a fact wrong. He shows certain signs that they say are appropriate for an 80-plus-year-old guy. The scary thing about Trump, to the professionals, not to me, this is just what they say. When Trump confused Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi, he didn't realize I'm literally saying things that make no sense. He repeated it, in fact, and continued on. When he regularly says Hungary has a border with Russia, or Orban runs Turkey, or Obama's president, or I defeated Obama, or when he doesn't realize it. And that combined with what are called phonemic paraphasias, where he glitches and can't get a word out, and then white flags like the infamous Saudi Arabia, and then he moves on to something else. That's concerning the mental health professionals I talk to. And I have to go by the professionals because I'm not one.
Because the professionals have a sterling track record over the last 5 years. No intellectual capture or groupthink within the professional class. But
well,
David, here's what I think's going on.
About the particular individuals, it's very easy to generically say, oh, the professionals. Demonstrate it about the specific people making the claims and bring something alternative forward. I'll give you one other example if I can.
Well, I don't know the specific. I mean, to be fair, you haven't cited anyone. You have cited also a generic
Dr. John Gartner,
professionals
Dr.
I've
Harry
talked
Siegel.
to. So
I mean, I can provide
I can't
the list.
rebut them. Yeah, but I haven't seen what they had to say or don't know who they are, so I can't sit here and rebut their testimony to you on the David Pakman Show.
Not only that, but have these people actually personally seen Joe Biden to make that diagnosis, or is it just their opinion, right? And also what's relevant is, what is their political persuasion? Because, I mean, if they're Democrats, they're obviously going to stand by Biden. I mean, right?
What I can say is I think this is, and I'm saying this, and this isn't, I don't want one of these slap fight stupid debates. And I don't think any of us are going to do that.
No.
But here's what I think's going on, David, and I'm going to be real with you, and you just tell me,
Please.
No, Will, I think you're wrong. That's not what I'm doing. I think you're creating a false equivalency. So I think what you're doing, and I'm not going to argue for Trump's perfection, but this is like you going 90 miles an hour in a 55 and trying to point out that I went 60. Yeah, okay, Trump has some failings, but they don't measure to the thing that you admitted, which is Joe Biden just this week said, that he was vice president during the pandemic. He didn't correct himself right after that, David. He said Obama sent him to Detroit to work with the mayor of Detroit during the pandemic because he was vice president. We're off by how many years are we off by? By like 7 or 8 in that situation. 6 years in that situation. Joe, but that's just one anecdote, and we could just go on. And I think that what you're doing is seeing your own vulnerability. And when I say that, your own, in that you're sort of arguing on behalf of Biden and I'm sort of arguing on behalf of Trump in this pseudo debate. You're sensing your own vulnerability and trying to, offer up some equivalency, which is just totally off. Trump may be going 60 to 55, but Biden is veering off into the ditch at 120.
Okay, I think I understand your perspective. I do, like you said, I do totally disagree with you. And I think the greatest example of this is the following. All of the predictions about Biden's decline fail to materialize, and he does fine. I'll give you some examples. 2020 primary. He's going to debate Bernie. He won't be able to speak. He won't know it's a debate. He'll soil his diaper. He does fine. Okay, now the 2020 debate against Trump is coming up. He won't even be able to stand. He'll be facing backwards. He'll fall down. It's absolutely fine. He ends up winning the election. Okay, State of the Union's coming up. He can't possibly deliver a 100-minute speech. He does it, and it goes so well that now they've switched to, it's so good he must be on drugs, yet they can't cite the drug that would achieve what it is that they claim is being achieved. To counter that, Will.
Well, can I just ask you on that, David? I can't prove that, right? But I know you did this on your show recently, and you can you really dismiss that as absurd, though? I mean, I can't prove it.
What are you talking about right now?
You're bringing up, oh my God, he's done so good that he's on performance-enhancing drugs of some kind. He's shot up with something.
It's all over your network. Have you seen the morning show on Fox News?
What a stupid question. Why does David Pakman always play ignorant? He literally is responding to the statement that you just made, and he's like, what? What are you talking about right now? I mean, seriously, dude, what part of your behavior displays a good faith argument? Somebody explain that to me. I mean, just wow.
I host the morning show, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, my co-host said it this past weekend on Fox and Friends. What I'm telling you is it's not an absurd...
He's juicing, he's taking injections, Byron Donalds.
Hold on, David. I'm not debating you on that. I know that it's being said.
Okay, good.
What I'm asking... Yeah, I'm not... I know that it's being said. What I'm saying to you is... It's not absurd to say it. I don't say it because I can't have proof in it. But every single one of us watching, including not just the right and Republicans, wonder, how is it one guy, one way, and in these big moments, these big stages like you talk about, a different guy, a different way? And I don't think it's this like absurd leap to go, whoa, pro-vigil, Adderall, I don't know, whatever. But he's on something that's amping him up because he's a different dude.
Let's talk about Adderall and Provigil. Now we're in substance. Now we're getting into it, right, Will? Adderall and Ritalin, they work 4 to 6 hours. The idea that Byron Donalds presented on your channel, that by the end of a 1-hour speech he's fading, not how Adderall and Ritalin work. And Adderall and Ritalin famously don't cover up cognitive decline. And when there is cognitive decline, can generate anxiety and more difficulty speaking. So Adderall, Ritalin wouldn't do what you're saying.
So you're saying there's no...
Sorry, I keep cutting in, but when did David Pakman become a doctor? And plus, didn't they find a bag of coke in the White House? I mean, who's to assume that that was Hunter Biden's instead of Joe Biden's? I don't know. Call me crazy. Definitely agree with Will Cain that it's a fair assumption to think that Joe Biden could have been on some type of performance-enhancing drug, right? And, I mean, he's the president of the United States. You know, he has access to the very best things, maybe things that aren't even on the market yet for the general public, something that we don't even know the name of. That's just me presuming. I'm not saying that he is or isn't, but I think it's a fair thing to question, right?
There's no drug that could be serving as a performance enhancer for Joe Biden in these situations.
You're jumping ahead. Let me get through it. So Adderall and Ritalin wouldn't do what you're suggesting. Provigil has a 12 to 15-hour duration. So again, like Byron Donald goes, you can tell because it wears off at the end of an hour. It doesn't work that way. And also Provigil's effect on dementia is 0. So now let me turn it around to you. You tell me the drug. It's weird to say, I think there might be a drug. David, tell me which one it is. You tell me what drug would do what you're suggesting.
Now, to be fair, okay, you've done two things there, okay, and we're shifting burdens of proof. But my burden of proof is not.
You asserted drugs, and I'm asking you what drugs.
I did not. Hold on, walk with me here. First, the Byron Donalds argument is a straw man with me because you specifically rebutted that it wears off. I never said that, and I don't think that undercuts or rebuts the idea that he could be on some type of performance enhancer. I also didn't make the affirmative statement that he is on performance enhancers. What I said to you is, you have contended that's absurd. Look at the guy. This is evidence of his cognitive abilities that he can rally for these big moments. What I'm telling you is my co-host or anybody else that says, or somebody sitting at the backyard barbecue says, he's injected on all kinds of things to amp him up for the debate is not an absurd supposition. I don't have to prove the affirmative on it. I just have to tell you, you rejecting it is the burden of proof. You can't reject, and I think you have a hard hill to climb to say there's no way he's on anything like that.
In order to say it's not an absurd suggestion, you have to at least plausibly bring a specific substance known to man that would do what is being alleged, which is it would take someone suffering from cognitive decline who struggles to even understand what he's saying and make them coherent in the way that it is being described. So the burden of proof is on those who say it's plausible to say, here's the list of drugs that could do it. And even here's one other thing before you jump in. I wouldn't expect you to come up with the right drug because yesterday morning, Dr. Ronnie Jackson on Fox News couldn't even propose what drug would do it. If the pill guy from Air Force One can't suggest it, I know you're not going to be able to.
Well, and okay, to be fair, also, just because I'm into the logic of these debates, you rebutted Adderall based upon the premise of Byron Donald's statement that it wears off. You know, that's only one element. Additive to the contention that is only by one man, Byron Donald, that it wears off. It doesn't undercut the idea.
Forget about Byron. It also does not hide dementia symptoms, and it can make folks with dementia more agitated and anxious, which would be very bad for Biden's speeches.
Once again, though, David, you're using specifics, and I appreciate your use of specifics on certain things, but you put into
I'm using specifics.
But you're planting the debate. You keep planting my position.
But then give me the drug. I can't diagnose Adderall. You mentioned Adderall.
No. You're building assumptions on top of one another with me. For example, I haven't made the contention that he has dementia because I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose him. But I can also look at him as a common sense human being and go, something's not right with Joe Biden, whatever it is. Then you use my assumption that I said dementia or whatever else it is, and
you said
and then
Adderall
use that as a way to say there's no performance enhancer that could solve these specific things that you made as part of the assumption.
Here's what I think, Will. I think the Biden cognitive decline story is a loser for the right, and this conversation is proving it. I'm willing to leave it there.
Okay, I disagree, because I'll tell you this. We're talking about the average independent out there. I actually think it's one of the most important voting factors for the average independent. That they see what's going on with Joe Biden, and they sense a lack of competency. I don't mean in just intellectual failings. I mean age-related decline.
Why?
Dr. David Pakman, everybody. I mean, seriously, this guy is an expert at framing questions, projecting assumptions, and then being an expert on certain things while being a completely uninformed idiot when it's convenient to his argument. I mean, just get out of here, right? And I know some of you might be thinking that, well, Joe Biden's not in the race anymore. But the fact is, Kamala Harris just told The View that she co-signed to every single decision that Joe Biden has made over these last 4 years. And so if that's true, she is just as guilty and mentally declined, however you want to call it, if it's dementia, if it's just pure stupidity, whatever. That's Kamala Harris as well as Joe Biden. With that said, I think I'll wrap up here. I appreciate you guys watching till the end. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.